History made in the U.S. Senate.
And this nomination is confirmed.
All right.
Sending a judge from Miami to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Justice Department refusing to give lawmakers President Trump's Mar-a-Lago documents. And one governor is threatening to ship illegal immigrants.
Texas is providing charter buses.
I think it's pretty clear this is a publicity stunt.
To the White House. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Amanda Gray.
And I'm Anya Joseph. Today's Friday, April 8th, 2022.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
White House watch party, cell phone video rolling as President Biden celebrates the confirmation of his Supreme Court nominee, Miami's Ketanji Brown Jackson. Ketanji Brown Jackson getting the support of all 50 Senate Democrats and 3 Republicans.
Eugenia Schwerin from our D.C. Bureau reports.
A bipartisan group of senators voted to confirm Ketanji Brown Jackson to be the first Black woman to serve on the Supreme Court.
On this vote, the yeas are 53, the nays are 47, and this nomination is confirmed.
She really made the case that to be the first, you have to be the best.
Jackson watched the historic announcement alongside with her family and President Biden at the White House.
All right. Congratulations. This is a big day.
She will be fully sworn in after Judge Stephen Breyer retires in the summer, which is expected to be in July.
Ketanji Brown Jackson will start hearing cases in October, which will give her enough time to transition into becoming a public figure.
Until then, she will remain in her current position on the U.S. Court of Appeals.
And here I see somebody extraordinarily well qualified. Somebody who will make the court look more like America.
It's an extraordinary day, and I think it's a very important statement today about who we are as a nation, that we put Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson on the highest court of our land.
President Biden will celebrate Jackson's historic confirmation later this afternoon on the South Lawn of the White House. This is Eugenia Schwerin reporting for the South Florida Media Network.
The UN is taking action to further isolate Russia from the global stage. They're gathering today to decide the next steps to address the conflict. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials are asking world leaders for additional fighting power. They're warning NATO that Russia's attacks against Ukraine could stretch for months to come. CNN's Gloria Pazmino is tracking the latest on the conflict, which now appears to be shifting and intensifying.
The United Nations General Assembly has voted to suspend Russia from the Human Rights Council as its invasion of Ukraine appears to be shifting, amid more evidence of atrocities, while NATO leaders hold a critical meeting to decide how to move forward.
The sickening images and accounts coming out of Bucha and other parts of Ukraine have only strengthened our collective resolve and unity.
Meanwhile, in the war zone, Ukrainians are burying their dead, bracing for attack, and digging through the rubble. It's all part of daily life in Ukraine's eastern region. While the Russian military continues its offensive against Ukraine and forces push east, on Thursday in Brussels, Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba issued a plea for help following a meeting of NATO foreign affairs ministers.
Either you help us now, and I'm speaking about days, not weeks, or your help will come too late.
Ukrainian officials say more fighting is underway in the east. While Western nations debate any additional sanctions and pledge more aid to Ukraine, the attacks appear to have no end in sight.
This war may last for weeks, but also months, and possibly also for years. And therefore, we need to prepare for a long haul.
I'm Gloria Pazmino reporting.
Motivated by alleged atrocities, NATO member states agreed to supply new and heavier equipment to Ukraine. That's according to UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss. Meanwhile, Russia is now calling its suspension from the UN Human Rights Council illegitimate and politically motivated. But Moscow also claims it was Russia that decided to suspend its own membership on the council.
The Justice Department is investigating their handling of White House records that were taken to Mar-a-Lago after former President Trump left office. This comes as the Justice Department is blocking the National Archives from sharing details on the boxes of Congress. In a letter yesterday, the agency told Congress it's unable to respond to this request. This indication will now allow Congress to investigate into President Trump and see if he broke the law or not.
Puerto Ricans are waking up to an island-wide blackout. It was caused by a circuit breaker failure at a power plant in the city of Guayanilla Wednesday. The governor suspended work for government employees and canceled school until the power can be restored. Many are also without water.
There are 2 additional plaintiffs this morning in the suit filed by former Dolphins coach Brian Flores against the NFL. Flores filed this suit in February against the league as well as the Dolphins and 2 other teams. He's accusing them of unfair hiring practices and racial discrimination. Former Arizona Cardinals coach Steve Wilkes and former NFL assistant coach Ray Horton have joined the legal action.
A new company is blasting off from Florida today with 4 civilian astronauts on board.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
I think it's pretty clear this is a publicity stunt.
Texas is providing charter buses.
A war of words over immigration at the southern border as a new smuggling attempt is stopped in Mexico. Newsbreak will be back in just 2 minutes.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Smugglers stopped in Mexico with a truck packed with 167 people headed to the U.S. border. Mexico's National Migration Institute calls the operation a rescue.
There were 4 Cubans in the truck, along with 135 people from Guatemala, 20 from Honduras, and 8 from El Salvador. Yesterday's bust in the city of Puebla led to the arrest of 2 alleged smugglers from Mexico. It happened the same week as Governor Greg Abbott threatened to bust illegal immigrants out of Texas and to the capital, something the White House calls a political stunt.
To help local officials whose communities are being overwhelmed by hordes of illegal immigrants who are being dropped off by the Biden administration, Texas is providing charter buses.
His own office admits that a migrant would need to voluntarily be transported, and then he can't compel them to.
Enforcement of U.S. immigration law is the responsibility of the federal government, giving no state governor the authority Governor Abbott would need.
4 civilians are making history as they are scheduled to launch to the International Space Station this morning. The SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket is scheduled to launch from NASA Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. The team consists of 3 paying passengers and a former astronaut. They will be in space for 10 days and helping with scientific experiments. The organizers from Axiom Space announced they want to soon build the first commercial space station.
That is all the time that we have for Newsbreak today. I'm Anya Joseph.
I'm Amanda Gray. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.